conversation. And that really surprised me. One of the things that really struck me from like Twitter world versus knocking on people's doors was how much more hopeful I was after a 2-hour session of like knocking on people's doors and talking to them, rather than looking at my replies on Twitter. And so, you know, people really surprised me, and people would say that they changed their minds about certain things, but not through facts, unfortunately. And I've just spent my whole life like learning how to pull stats together. It was often because I had a really nice conversation with you today. And, you know, sometimes just having that conversation was enough, and you didn't have to bring in the stats and the science. But it's very hard to change people's minds, though, saying that. It's very, very hard.
Yeah, sure.
And sometimes I felt like people would just be like, say, OK, just because they wanted to get rid of me.
Yeah, well, OK, so that was what I was going to ask. So how quickly, when you open the door, because I didn't do that, right? I don't go door to door and ask people. You
should go, like, see, like, how to argue with a racist works.
I think I'd just be so depressed so quickly. I mean, how quickly were people judging you? They look you up and down and go, here is someone who looks like you. I don't know anything else about you. And therefore, you fit into the following stereotypes that I'm going to adhere to. I
had to demonstrate that I belonged to the area. I had to go, beyond, because people just would assume, someone was like, are you from Newham? Which, for people that don't know, is a part of East London where there's more people that look like me. And I'd be like, why would you assume that? But when did it become this point of like, I belong and you don't?
Well, again, I think that this is a lot to do with our sort of cultural amnesia and very selective telling of the history of empire, that actually black and brown people have been present in this country, well, since Roman times, admittedly in smaller proportions, but that once you understand that phrase, that we are here because you were there, and that empire is the reason that we live in a multicultural society, that if we teach that, if we have a much richer understanding of the relationship between the various colonized places that occurred during the years of empire, that maybe there would be a better sense of belonging, that there would that it stops being so.
I mean, have you ever questioned your belonging?
I grew up in